Hey, what's going on, guys? So in the interest of doing something a little bit different, today the video that I have is actually going to be several wins compiled into one, just sort of the middle part cut out. We'll have to see how it goes. I do like providing some of that context in the middle part of the games to just sort of lay down why I'm making the decisions that I'm making, but here, I don't know what this guy's doing. I mean, I don't know how he didn't see me there. I mean, maybe he did, but that's not the right way to play that. And you'll also notice at the beginning of that I didn't close the door right behind me, and that's because there was a guy immediately right behind me. So I just figured I'm going to go for a gun. Now now I don't do that. Now I always close the door behind me, but this one again, you'll see I get the guy, I'm a little bit damaged, but I'm pushing him as I go into the maze. I'm actually pushing because I have the advantage there. And here you'll see another great tactic of mine. You switch around the corner, make him think you're retreating, and then you pop right back out to re-challenge him. And he ran right into that. Now he had a Bowie knife out, so I'm lucky I didn't die. If I had not had a shotgun out, probably would have been dead there for sure. But that's just the strategy that I employ literally every single game. Is you dip behind some cover, you make them think you're retreating, and then you immediately pop back out. And all that does is that gets them to put their guard down. It's like a little bit of a fake out. Now I can see that guy here, but obviously, you know, I have an MP40 out, so I'm not going to run up on him. And I think maybe he's leaving, and I'm like, you know, maybe I could frag him. And you'll see here that the frag ends up, I didn't cook it right, but it ends up in a perfect position. Look where it blows up. Right on the trunk of the tree. Absolutely beautiful, but he had moved. And that was an absolutely horrific dart. I missed the edge of the hill, so now it just goes sailing off into the distance. Push up to the left here. And now this is extreme range for the MP40. I mean, normally I would never try to get a guy with this, only with the GKS from that kind of distance. But the MP40, I mean, I don't know. I thought I'd try it and it ended up working out. But again, that juke that I'm talking about is a juke that is absolutely crucial to all of my gameplays. I literally do it in 100% of the games that I play. I do it to at least one or two guys, at least. And that is when you're in a gunfight with someone, you dive away from the action momentarily, and then you re-peek. Now, obviously, that doesn't work if your gun clip is empty, so you kind of have to time that and make sure you're paying attention so you don't end up trying to do that with an empty clip or with a gun that's not going to work for it. And then here I'm just dealing with this guy with the motorcycle. And this is just, in my opinion, the worst type of player that plays Blackout. It's top 10, top 7, and he's flying around a motorcycle with a level 3 armor. So I get off the thing here. Not the best shooting on my part, but I do end up getting him. And I was going to re-challenge him from the side there. Of course, I only had 4 bullets in the clip, so that would have been an example of what I was saying not to do. But it didn't end up happening, so, you know, we're all good. So now I'm just sort of... Now this is... I did leave this part in because it is crucial, I think, to figure out how you should be playing the end games because, you know, if we're being honest, a lot of people don't get wins. A lot of people just don't. And including me up until about, you know, up until like, you know, 15, well, maybe up until like 12, 13 days of playtime, which is a lot of playtime if you think about it. I mean, if you do the math, it's 24 hours per day times 12. So you're looking at, you know, 250 hours, 300 hours worth of playtime. And you basically have no wins or you have very few wins. So it's you know, a lot of people have to understand how you play these final circles. So as aggressive as I play in the regular part of the game, it's very passive in the end circle because you really, basically what happens is everybody spreads out around the very edge of the circle and everybody puts their back basically to the edge of the circle and they just sort of slowly creep in as they have to. And so that creates a real problem if you want to be aggressive. And so what you have to do is you have to be aggressive around the outer edge of the circle because everybody just is waiting, sitting there with all their perks, and you know that anyone that's made it this far probably has decent equipment or armor or whatever. So a lot of the guys you run into at this stage are just sort of not being aggressive. And what you see here is actually really rare. That guy grapples, and because he grappled, what I was just saying, he got over-aggressive by grappling, and as you saw, there was a guy right behind him. He didn't even notice that guy. He just tried to grapple right up into the center of the fight, like, yeah! And then that guy ends up being right next to him. And it's just like, dude, you literally just killed yourself because you were way too aggressive in the final circle. You don't want to be in that far. Even where I was relatively not the best to be, but, you know, it depends on your style. And my style is I like to have a piece of cover rather than be on the very edge, so I was using the hill as kind of like some cover. And, yeah, so as soon as he grappled, I was over there pushing him. I threw that stun almost immediately. But the guy behind him killed him before I even got to him. So now what I had heard a second ago was that grenade down there to my bottom left, down by the fence down there, and I heard the explosion and the kill, so I'm figuring that the other guy's down there, but as I'm looking around, again, here in this final circle, it's tough, man. It's really tough because you want to be aggressive, but you really can't just run out there because, as I said, I'm almost certain that this guy is with his back to the edge of the circle waiting for me, and the fact that I don't have my back to the circle gives me a slight advantage because that means I have to push maybe a couple seconds later than they do, which ends up what happening here, and he ends up not having any cover. So, as you see, I'm still looking left. I don't see anybody there, right? I'm just kind of waiting, just trying to figure out where he is. It's like, hey, man, what's going on here? I'm looking, can't find him. The circle's halfway closed. Don't see him to the right. And then I'm like, what? He's down here? So he was down here the whole time? And because I had pushed in more than usual at the end there, he ended up getting pinched by the circle and had to make a break for it, and he had no cover, and I had a good position there. So that's basically about as aggressive as you can be in that final circle, unless you're just absolute pro unstoppable with your aim and you're getting 15, 20 kills a game. If you're doing that, then you can go and be aggressive in that final circle, but I'm not there yet. I'm still only around the 10 kill mark on my good games, and that's what this one was a 10 kill game. So I'm only there, and you really just have to be, not passive, I wouldn't say, but you really can't be as aggressive as you would like to be in those final few circles if you want to actually get anything done. So as you see me coming around here, I'm going to go for some guys. Now I have my pistol out because a KN-47 or KN-57, basically an AK is not the type of gun you want to be running around challenging guys in close quarters with. Had that pistol out, but then of course I see him, so I have to switch to guns. Now here, you'll see me kind of up near the graveyard. That's generally where I go second, and look how slow this game's been so far. So it's just that one kill, and then we're down to 29 people left. And I'm like, is that a guy just standing there? Now, this is something I've rectified in my later games. I don't do this anymore, but from that kind of range with a suppressor, I'm just going to burst fire. And that's what I should have done there. I could have gotten 3 or 4 hits on him and then, finished him off. But this is not necessarily the best gunfight, I wouldn't say. Now, see, he ran away from that grenade, so I didn't cook it enough, and I didn't place it correctly. And the combination of those two means that he gets away, and I don't. Now, here's another one. Watch. He damages me, I dip away, and I realize he stopped shooting, so I immediately re-challenge him. There's the kill right there. It's just that simple. Because his reaction is slightly delayed from mine, so I see that he stopped shooting, so I dip away real quick. Well, I didn't do that because he stopped shooting. I dipped away because he was hitting me, and then he stopped shooting, so I immediately re-challenged without healing or anything. And he saw me dip away and was like, oh, I have a chance to get in this mausoleum. And so he tried to go, and I had popped back out at that exact moment and tried to get him. So, again, that quick disengage and re-engage is maybe the most important part of my game that I have today. And it literally is, it's resulted in, I don't even know how many kills. It's literally at least 1 to 2 kills. It's literally at least 1 kill every single game that I play. And if you think about it, if I don't get that kill there, then there's a chance I might die. So that means that a good portion of the games that I play get extended by that. And you see it, again, right there. It was perfect, right? Sort of a stalemate in a gunfight. I'm doing some damage to him. He's doing some damage to me. I'm doing some damage to him. He's doing some damage to me. As soon as I dip away and then I immediately re-peek, then he's dead. Just like that. It's just a quick... I just started to say this in another video. I don't like saying that because it's basically like... You're trying to say, oh, I'm doing something that he's not expecting, and it's not really about that. It's really about doing something so fast and reacting so fast on the fly that they don't have a chance to react. Like I said, I started shooting him, he was hitting me, so I moved out of the way, and then I'm like, oh, he stopped shooting, so I re-peeked. So what I did was I decided to go behind cover, then I realized he wasn't shooting, then I decided to come back out from cover, and in all that time, it took him to go, oh, I should get behind cover, and he started to go behind cover. So the fact that I had 2 seconds advantage on him by leaving, it was really more like 1 second, but I started to leave, realized he stopped shooting, came back. Just that right there got me the kill because he was a little bit delayed from my decision, and because of that, he died. We're talking about a half second. And so it's just crucial that you get that in your mind and that you make that part of your playstyle because if you're retreating, you're just going to get killed. If you're in a gunfight with somebody and you're retreating or you stop to heal, you're basically just a sitting duck. That's all there is to it. So if you have any sort of confidence in your aim, any sort of confidence whatsoever, that you can actually get a kill, you should push it. And once you have some decent aim and you know and you can see the examples like I'm giving to you here in these games of how I'm doing it and how it's working,
Get to safety.
you'll start to do it in your own game, and you'll start to figure out the timing, because the timing is crucial. Because if you go behind cover and then come back out too fast, then they wouldn't have had time to react yet. Does that make sense? So let's say you immediately go behind cover and immediately pop back out. They don't have a time to react usually, because they're still shooting at you. So basically you didn't do anything. You went behind cover and then you came back out from cover and then you get shot and killed. And that's because you weren't, now this is a crazy gunfight here. Now you see, as I'm fighting with this guy, I'm switching my equipment mid-game, right? Now I'm trying to find him. I can't really see where he is. I don't know how he got me there. Or I don't know how I got him there. Probably because he didn't have a submachine gun out. And he got me really low, but because of the way I was moving, and because of the fact that I didn't hesitate to push up there, he didn't have the cover, and he was surprised probably that I was so close. I talk about that all the time too. You really have to try to, I don't even know that I would say you have to try to surprise guys. You just have to, now look, here's an example of what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm going to go over here, and I'm not going to see this guy. I have a paranoia on, which is pretty rare, but I'm not going to see this guy. I'm just sort of looking around. All of a sudden I get paranoid, so I dip away, and then immediately re-challenge, and I get the kill. Now that time I didn't dip away during the actual gunfight because I was getting hits on him, and my recoil control was relatively under control, so I figured, okay, this would be a good time to actually keep shooting because I'm doing some good stuff. But if your shots aren't really on, or you're a little concerned, now here's a crazy one, okay? So I see his dart. So you always want to take that out when you can. So now I have to push that way. Circle's closing on me, which, at this point, I generally would already have pushed, but I still have some cover, and I know he's over there somewhere, so I don't really want to push. I see him up on the roof, so I'm like, okay, I have time. If I get behind this cover, I have time to make it up here. Now watch what happens. He immediately comes off the roof and challenges me. Immediately. But because I had a dead silence on, he had no idea that I was there. And on top of that, I was ready with my gun, and I had an AK out, which is not ideal in that situation, but I think I ended up killing him because I had the AK out, because I lasered him with a bunch of shots there. Now I can see there's only me and one guy left, so I'm going to take the high ground here because I don't know where he is. But I figured that since that guy was up here a second ago, there's not going to be anyone up here. Now I could have been grappling right up into my own death. That's possible. But like I said, I'm pretty sure the guy that was shooting me, as much as he lasered me from that distance, I was pretty sure it was him that had jumped off this roof and come to challenge me over there in the corner. So I figured this was a relatively safe play, especially since I'm on the edge of the circle. Now I see that guy. Now what in the world is he doing? I should have just let that happen, huh? He would have gone all the way to the other end of the bridge. And you can see I'm not getting any shots, so I duck down because immediately he snipes. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. And then I also realized, oh, look at my armor's dead. So I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and fix that before I continue fighting here, because that'd be the death of you, have no armor in the ending gunfight. Look, he didn't move at all. Totally bad play on his part. He didn't move at all. Now I'm like, okay, I have to move over here to this circle, and you got to do it fast, so I'm just going to grapple all this way. Missed that grapple because I suck. And look, he's still on the bridge. After all that, he's still on the bridge. So now I have some good shots on him. I have an advantage here, but I do still have to move slightly into the circle. Now I saw him move and he's damaged, so I'm going to cook this grenade. Bad throw, bad cook, just bad everything. What is correct, though, is pushing this way. And now I see him there, and I start cooking the grenade, and I know he's going to be close. There he is. Boom, game over. So, pressing my advantage when he didn't have the advantage, okay? I could tell by the way he was acting, the way he was moving. He was too passive there at the end, so I got ultra aggressive with those grapples. I grappled 3-4 times all the way into that part of the circle, and I took the high position, and then he had to push into me, which means that I now have the advantage and he doesn't. Obviously, without grapples, you can't do that. You can do that. It's just not going to be quite as fast. You're going to have to push, but in that case, I took the advantage and pressed my advantage that I had against him, whereas I didn't have the advantage before. When I was on the roof of the building on the very edge of the circle and he's closer to the edge of the circle, I don't have that advantage. So that's just crucial to press your advantage when you have it. And I say this a lot too. You do have to be relatively familiar with the game because you have to be able to know when you have the advantage and when you don't. But in my opinion, anytime you think that you're a decent shot, or anytime you think you've equaled, think about it this way. If you both have full health and you haven't engaged him yet, don't you just instinctively think that you have the advantage because you're probably a little bit more confident in yourself? than you are on the other guy, so you instinctively think you have the advantage. So if you both trade some bullets and you both go down to 75 health, don't you think it's exactly the same? Don't you still believe in yourself more than you believe in him? And if that's the case, then you push him. Now this is crazy here. So he's separated from me, which, you know, we weren't communicating very well, but he's separated from me. Even there, still didn't hit any full sprint, still didn't hit anybody on the fence here. Still didn't hit any fence. So now I wait, see him coming in, finish him off, that's it. Gets him to revive real quick. He was pretty close to dying there, actually. But, like I said, if you're both equal full health, then you still think you're going to have the advantage. And so if you both damage each other a decent amount and you have 75 health, you have to assume you damaged him a decent amount. So maybe let's assume he still has 75 health. Don't you still believe in yourself more than him? So it's basically like you have full health anyway, because you're both on an equal footing, except you believe in yourself more than you believe in him. So there's no reason to not push in that situation. Now there, I had told him, don't engage yet. You know, wait until we know what's going on with these guys. As you see here, just till that kill, I had 2 kills with 12 guys left. And I ended up finishing this game with 8 kills. So for me, part of the issue that's been happening recently is something I mentioned in the last video, but if I end up with not very many kills, like, there are some games where I end up with like 4 or 5 kills at the end and a win, and that's not that good. But there are... That was crazy, huh? See, if I had anything other than a submachine gun out, I'd have been dead right there. Alright? Now, I'm just healing here to pick him up because I don't know how much... I don't know where guys are, and I don't want to revive him with just 20 health left, because if someone gets a sniper shot on my foot, or they barely shoot an assault rifle at me, then I'm going to be dead while trying to revive him, and I didn't know where anybody was, so I'm just going to heal up real quick. But in the games that I don't get very many kills, like 4 kills, 5 kills, the only reason that's happening is because of the early game. Because in the end game, I'm definitely getting... When I win games, I definitely get at least 2/3 of all the remaining kills. That's definitely how it works. That's what's happening to me pretty much every game I play. And that's because of what I said to you earlier, which is I play passive enough that I'm not in the gunfights, but I'm aggressive enough to push when I have the advantage. And just that distinction is enough to make me just run over people in the end game. I really do. The amount of games where I get close to the end with, 4 or 5 kills near the end, that's not very many. And then to end up, like, even here, like I said, 2 kills with 12 people left, okay? So now I've gotten 3 of the last 6, so I've gotten 50% of the kills in here. Now, this is a duos game. All right, so I've gotten 50% of the kills so far. And then I get another 3 before it ends, so I get another 50% of the kills. Now, this isn't a duos game. So that just means that I have the right strategy down for the end game, which is... I don't rush into the middle of the circle like everybody else does, because that's just nuts. Now, that guy had been sniping at us earlier. I think I cut that part out, but he had been sniping at us earlier. So when I tag him and I see that guy in there, get a quick down on him. And I was trying to thirst him there. I didn't think about trying to thirst him, and I figured his teammate was in there and that the other guy running was a solo guy. So I was just kind of watching, just thinking like, well, any second now a guy's going to pop up. But also keep in mind, this is our back cover here. Now, generally, we wouldn't be this far into the center of the circle, but we're this far in because this is where the cover is. So it's a good position. Now, I see that guy going in there. Shoot him. Now, I think what happened here is he was actually trying to heal up before he revived his teammate, because I actually thought he had gotten him up. So when I got that, I was like, oh, well, okay, well, that's a double kill there. So there's another 2 kills. But like I said, the strategy of mine in the end game is... I want to be slightly more aggressive than everybody. Well, first of all, I'm way more aggressive than everybody else in the lobby in that final circle. But the amount of aggressive that I am is only slightly more aggressive than... Man, see, he lit me up, huh? So I know right now that he's the last guy, and that we're gonna have to team. We're gonna have to team this to get him down, because he lasered me there. So what I am about 50% more aggressive than the other people in the final circle, and that's what gets me a lot of wins. Because again, you can see like this, I'm going to push up to him. I know he's under here, so I'm just going to push up. We're going to close off on him. And there it is. Well, okay, there it is. But, like I said, in the final circle, regardless of whatever else happens, I had 2 kills with 12 people left and ended up with 8. So I got 6 of the final 11 kills in that game. And actually, there's 2 of us alive, so I got 6 of the final 10 kills left in that game, which is crazy. And that's just how it ends up for me most every game, because of the level of aggression I play within that final circle. But it's restrained aggression. It's not just balls out, I'm going to rush into the center and just try to take everybody on. It's measured aggression. And that's what gets me an unbelievable amount of wins. Virtually every win I get is because of that. So thank you guys for checking this one out. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for being here. See you later.